First series related question. Using the switch statement, write a menu-driven program for the following. To print the Floyd's triangle. What is Floyd's triangle? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So this is the Floyd's triangle. So they are asking you, how can you print this triangle? Just take 2 minutes and think what should be the value of I? What should be the value? What should be the value of J? How can you print? If you know the first element of each row, then you know you can increment it, right? That's all what it is doing. If you know the first element in each row, the next rows, next columns are just one more than that. Okay, so take a minute and think how should be your approach. 5 rows are there. So generally, I told you in most of the question, consider I as number of rows. So here I have for int I equal to 1, I less than or equal to 5, I plus plus, because there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 rows. Okay, then J, consider it as columns. Okay, so consider J as for int J equal to 1, J less than or equal to, how many columns are there? Okay, wait, here what you need to do, not the all the, because it's an inner loop, right? So for inner loop, you have to think little bit more. In the first row, how many columns are there? 1. Second row, how many columns are there? 2. Fifth row, 5 columns, right? So you need to print J. J means number of columns are 1 to I. What is the number of rows? There you have to stop. Understood? If there are 2 rows, only 2 columns need to be printed. If 3 rows, 3 columns needs to be printed. That pattern is what is followed here, right? So J less than or equal to I, then J plus plus. Understood? So I have declared the loops. Now, what is it that is getting printed? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So it's just keeping on incrementing, right? Some count it is keeping on incrementing. So what I'll do is, I am just initializing a variable outside. Okay, I'm just initializing a variable outside. And here, I don't need to even initialize. Okay, yeah, it's fine. So here what I'll do is, inside the loop, I will just say, or I can make it system, count is 1. Okay, count is 1 is better. So just write system.out.print. Whenever pattern comes, you have to do print, not println. Do print and do print what? Count. Do a plus and 1 space. Understood? And then, okay, by the way, there should be a bracket, curly bracket starting, because I am going to increment count here. Are you understanding? Count, I'm starting with 1. Print 1. Next, what needs to be printed? 2 needs to be printed. Next, what? 3. This is that block of code. I'm not writing all the other details. Okay, so what I did is, I is deciding the number of rows. J is columns. So in each row, how many columns are required? So as much as the number of rows. That's the expectation. If there are 2 rows, 2 columns should be there. 3 rows, 3 columns should be there. So I will start my column count from 1 to J less than or equal to I. Okay. And then inside the inner loop, I will just print count variable. What is count variable? What is count variable holding? I had initialized outside the for loop, I had initialized count to 1. Inside the nested loop, it is just incrementing. So as and when an inner loop is executed, count will be incremented. Then after that inner loop is done, you bring the cursor to the next line. That is the reason why you have written system.out.println. So maybe if you want, I can do the dry run. So it's like count equal to 1. Okay, initially count is 1. I equal to 1 and j has to go from 1 to 1. 1 less than or equal to 1. So 1 to 1 is what I'm writing. Okay, so when j equal to 1, I am system.out.print count. What is the value of count? Count is 1. So I'm writing here 1 gets printed there. Count is incremented. Count, the value of count is now, here the value of count is 2. Are you all understanding? The value of count has become 2 now. Okay, now what is the next? If I again go, j will be incremented and the value becomes 2, but 2 is bigger than I. So it will come out of that nested loop and here system.out.println will get executed. That means the cursor will come to the next line. After bringing the cursor to the next line, I will be incremented. I becomes 2. Now j loop again has to start from 1. J has to go from 1 to 2. So 2 times j loop will get executed. What is the value of count? Count was incremented in the previous iteration. So the value of count is 2. So 2 will get printed. Again, count gets incremented. The value of count has become 3. Again, one more j value, till j value has become, 1 minute, till j becomes 2, it has to execute, right? So now j will, you have to print 3 also. Count get incremented, count value is 4 now. But since j has already reached 2, it will come out of the inner loop and this will get executed. Again, it will come to the next line. Are you understanding this flow?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. So this is all. So this is all what you need to do when this kind of a pattern is asked. Okay, so just note it down. You are bringing in an external variable, which is count, and that count is controlling what needs to be printed. While I and j is deciding how many rows and columns are there in the pattern. Okay. Is, again, a second pattern is, first is I, then IC, then ICS, then the next pattern is ICSE. Okay, display the following pattern. So what I would say is, have a string, store the value as ICSE, and then proceed. This is, for loop works exactly the same way as that of the previous one. Think and do it. Okay, I want you guys to just think.
Will there be a can there be a question where they say to input the number from the user to do the pattern? So suppose the user puts 10, so till 10 we have to do the Floyd's triangle. Will there be a question like that?
No, very less chance. They can ask you see, in this kind of question, they can ask you enter a string, the second kind of question. So enter the string and that string has to generate a pattern like this. That can be asked. Or they can ask in the number related thing, they can ask number of rows required. 5 rows or 6 rows. Depend. I mean, if you already know the pattern, then only the number of rows matters, right? So they can ask you the number of rows, nothing beyond that. And that also I have not seen, asking number of rows and all that. They just ask you to print a pattern. That's it.
Okay.
Yeah. Now I want you guys to try this pattern.
To 0.
No, I don't want 0 here because this is number of rows. 0 is for arrays and strings. We will start with zeros in the case of arrays and strings. In the case of this, generally we go with okay, so okay, you meant I equal to 0 for the taking that what is it, taking that we have that string, maybe string st equal to ICSE. Is that the reason why you are saying start from 0?
No.
If that's the reason, then yes, you can do with start with 0. Okay, so
Then,
because here this is a string, this is 0, this is 1, this is 2, and this is 3. If this is the reason, yes, your approach is correct. Yes,
no,
tell
no.
me. Huh?
It wasn't for that reason. No. I just
Okay. Yeah. So, okay. So
for
here you can write int I equal to 0 because you can have this approach. Yes.
I is less than
Huh?
or equal to 4.
No.
No.
Here,
No.
how many characters are coming? How many ICSE is 4, right? Size length of ICSE is 4.
So it will
Right?
be 3.
Yeah.
3.
It will be if you want to write equal to, then it has to be less than or equal to 3. If you don't want to write equal to, then you can write it I less than 4. Less than or equal to 3. It's what I meant is I less than or equal to 3 and I less than 4, both are same. I has to go from, see, if you're writing this, what are the possible values I can take? 0, 1, 2, and 3. Understood? I can take only values 0, 1, 2, and 3. If this is the case, what are the possible values for I? Same thing, no? 0, 1, 2, 3. Because 4 is bigger than 3. And you are saying I should be lesser than 4. Are you
Yes, ma'am.
understanding this, Nitish? Got it,
Yeah.
right? Okay, so you write I equal to 0, I less than 4, and I plus plus. And how is your J loop increasing? Int J equal to 0, J less than I, sorry, J less than or equal to I, J plus plus. This is how you have written your previously, right? The
Yes,
previous
ma'am.
loop you just check. Whenever the triangular shape comes, this is the pattern. Okay, just that here you are starting with 0 instead of 1 because this is string of the pattern is related with string and you want to extract that character and print it. That is the only reason. Okay, so what do you need to print? System.out.print. What print? st.char at of j. That's what you're printing. Char at of j. What is caret of j means? See, when the value of I equal to 0, j has to go from 0 to 0. Okay. So what is st.char at of j? What is the value of j? J is 0, right? Can you see this as j? You can read it, right? This is j. What I have written inside is j. I hope you can see this is j. Okay. So st.char of j means the value of what is at j position, at 0th position. I is coming at 0th position. That will get printed. Then if you want to start the bracket here, and then that's all. There is no increment, nothing. You are not having any external variable, nothing. You are controlling with j itself because you have already decided to have that variable. Now system.out.println. That's it. Close the bracket. Your pattern is ready now. See, I told you j equal to 0 to 0. That's done. Now in the next iteration, what happens? Once it reaches here, the next statement is println. So println means bring the cursor to the next line. After bringing the cursor to the next line, I becomes 1. I becomes 1 means j has to go from what? 0 to 1. Understood? So 0 to 1. So when the value of j is 0, system you are asking it to print st.char at of j. So I gets printed. Again, same loop, j will become 1. When j becomes 1, again you are printing system.out.print st.char at of 1. What is at char at of 1? C is there. Understanding? So that's how C gets printed. Again, the next statement, j becomes 2. When j becomes 2, here we said j should be lesser than I, but that's not the case. J has become greater than I. So come out of that nested loop. Okay, because condition has become false. So come out of the loop. Then system.out.println, again the cursor will come to the next line. Understood? So here what you can do is st.char at of j, and then put a plus and one blank space, close the bracket and semicolon. Instead of closing the bracket here, just write J, one bracket close, plus quotation mark with space, and then this. So this will print the answer. See, in the Floyd's triangle, I is starting from 1. The starting value of I is 1. So number of rows means first row, second row, third row, fourth row, fifth row. So you need 5 rows. But you come here, in the case of ICSE, you're starting I from 0. You're not starting I from 1. When you're starting I from 0, it has to be 1 less, right? It can't go to 4 rows. That is the reason. So that is the reason why here I is less than 4. Yeah.
Okay. Ma'am, how is I equal to 0? Shouldn't it be I is equal to ST at then square bracket 0? Because shouldn't we store the string in an array?
Why do you want to store it in an array?
Because
I did not.
the string ICSE, we know that the input is from 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, but does the computer know that? Because shouldn't we store it in an array, the string?
See, it is not required. You can store ST as ICSE because ST is a string. Okay. So each of the character you can extract using the string function char at. When I say string function, you have to use st dot char at of 0 will give you I. Will give you I. This is a character function. You will get one I. Each character, if you want to take, you can do it. st dot char at of. If I say 1, what would be the character that I'm getting?
C. Mama, I understood the for loop one. Like I inside the for loop. How can we write I is equal to 0? Shouldn't we write I is st then square bracket 0?
No. See, J is just showing the index. If you want to think in that way, J is just showing the index. ST operation I am doing here, where I don't want the character. See, for loop is not for the, I'm not extracting I, C, SC in the for loop. I am extracting I am doing the printing inside the for loop.
Okay.
So there I am writing st dot char at.
Okay.
Inside the for loop, when I want to extract and print, where do I want to print? I want to print inside, right? I mean, inside the for loop. There I am saying st dot char at. That strings this specific character take. So it will say ICSCs. If it is 0, I will be extracted. If it is 1, C will be extracted. If it is 2, S will be extracted. If it is 3, E will be extracted. So depending on what is the index value inside char at, it will decide which character to be taken out. And you can take out only one character using char at function. If you want to extract 2 characters or more characters from a string, you have a substring method. You use substring method. Do you remember the substring method, which is also very useful method? So you have a substring method to extract 2 or more characters. If you want to extract only one character, you should be using only string name dot char at in bracket which index, which character, index of which character need to be, that you have to provide. If it is substring
method for this, right? Like in just one sentence and one loop, we can finish it off this program.
Yeah, you have. You want to rewrite the program in some other way? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, I was thinking of doing it through the substring method, which is one for loop.
Yeah, you can try that. Yes. Okay. Substring this is the method, right? You should write the starting value. Yeah. That means 0, assuming 0 is the starting value always. Then the next will be see, if you want to print one character, only one character, how should I write it? I'll give a different example. Say str equal to hello. Okay. Now, if I want to extract only H, how should I write the statement? Only H I want. Okay. So
Yeah.
string st equal to, yeah, tell me, str dot substring of
0 to
0, 0, 1. That's all. 0, 1 is what I need to write, because this ending number, ending index is not included when you extract. So then you will get only, so what is the output? Output is only H. Understood?
yes.
So I think others are also listening, right? Maria, Reina, are you with me? Hello.
Yes, ma'am. We were just doing it in the Blue Jay.
Blue Jay. Okay. But please listen also. Okay. Nitish, you tell me if the question is string st equal to str dot substring of, these are all I have seen in multiple choice question. Okay. That's why I'm asking this. 0, 3. What would be the output? Nitish, tell me. 0, 1, 2 is only you will be extracting. The third index you will not take out. Okay. What is the starting index mentioned? Starting from that, what is the ending index? -1. That those characters you will be extracting in your new string. Okay. So output is going to be HEL. That's it. Fine. So this
Yes.
is what I want. This is always you can expect one substring question in MCQ. When you are extracting, you said you want to use ICSC, right? That substring method. So when you use ICSC, that substring, what happens is this printing will be like this. There won't be spaces in between. But in the question, they have asked you to provide spaces between I and C and S and E. So how will you include that space? So that also you have to think before you do. Okay. This question, sum equal to 1 by 2 plus 1 by, what is it? 1 by 1. Okay. 1 by 1 plus 1 by 2 plus 1 by 3 plus etc. up to 1 by n. So you need to, they have mentioned this as create a method double series double n. Okay, so your method header is given. Method header is double series double n, and you have to it is returning a double value. Remember that it is returning a double value. So how will you write this method? Double series double n. Series is the method name. This double is the return data type. This is the formal parameters. Formal parameter is just one formal parameter, and that's n. So this is a method header, and you have to write a method which returns the sum, and sum is going to be a double value. Got it? Remember, will you use the scanner class to input or not?
Executed.
No.
Yeah. Reina and Maria, will you use a scanner class to input n or not?
Yes, miss. Because
Are
we
you
have to ask-
sure?
we
Are you
have to,
sure?
What
What is formal parameter doing here?
Oh, yes, miss. We have to put it in the main.
Main method, unless they ask you to write the main method, you don't need to write. Okay, I don't know whether they have asked in this question, but here they are passing n. So in your double series method, you don't need to use a scanner class, or you don't need to create an object of scanner class. That's not required because n is already passed from the main method. Got it? So you can proceed doing the series problem now.
I is equal to 1.
Hmm.
I is less than or equal to n.
I is less than or equal to n.
I plus plus.
I plus plus. Okay. Now, how will you write the series?
Just
You have not declared some variable. Don't you think you need to declare some variable?
yes,
Where will you declare?
before
Before.
Before
And
the
how will you
comma.
declare? And what should be the data type of
double
that?
now, double.
Double sum. So you will write double sum. Should I write equal to 0 or that is not required?
No, it's not required. No, it's required now. It's
It is
required.
required. Yes, because you are just keeping on adding to sum, right? You're adding some value. So you need to declare, you need to initialize it to 0. Yes. And then inside the for loop, what you will do? Sum plus equal to. This is a shorthand notation. This is as good as writing sum equal to sum plus whatever. Okay. So this entire thing is, this entire part is bypassed by writing a plus equal to. You don't need to write again sum equal to sum plus. That is not required. So sum plus equal to means that is taken care. Okay. Now, sum plus equal to what? What is varying in this? What is changing in this series? What is changing? Numerator is changing. Is
The de-
numerator?
The denominator.
Yes, only the denominator is changing. And how is it changing? From one denominator to another, how is it? How is the change, or what is the change?
+1.
Plus 1. So you have already started I equal to 1. So don't you think you can write it as 1.0, because I have already told you the decimal point division is required, divided by I. Don't you think this will give you the answer?
Yes.
That's all what you need to do, and close the bracket. Now you have closed, this is the method. Okay, so you have to just close the method, and now close the for loop. Now it's the time, it's a method, it's a time to return. There is no system.out.println required here. You just need to return. Return what? What will you return? What do you need to return from this method? What have you calculated?
N, ma'am.
Sorry? I couldn't hear you. Huh? What did you calculate, Nitish?
The sum.
Sum. So you just need to return sum. That's all. And then close the bracket. So here is the beginning of the method. Here is the end of the method. Just before ending the method, you are writing a return statement. Why are you writing a return statement? Because you said that this function will return a double value to the caller. Whoever is calling this function, that person, that method will receive a double value from this method. What is that double value? The double value is sum that you have calculated here. Okay, so what is the data type of sum? That is what you are writing here as double. Understood? So what is it that you're returning to your caller? Caller means whoever is calling this function. That data type is what you have to write. So if you are calculating sum here, sum is, in this case, it is division is there, right? You are keeping on dividing and then adding the result. So it has to be a double value. And that is the reason why you are returning a double value. Got it? So you return the sum, and here ends this program. That's all. This part is, you just need to write this function, double. What is the method header? This is called method header. And they will give you the method header. What is the header they have given? Just write the header. And then what is the function need to achieve? If it is a pattern, do the pattern related code. If it is a series, do the series related code. And then if it is pattern, there is nothing to return, because you have to put the display method system.out.println there itself. Inside the pattern method itself, you have to print. But in this case, you are calculating a value. When you are calculating a value, mostly you will have to return that value to the caller. Caller is usually main method in at least in 10th grade Java. Caller is going to be main method. Just return sum. The main method will receive it. That's all. If you have return data type, you have to return. That's mandatory. You have to return a variable of that data type. If the function is not returning anything, then you should write void. Then you don't need to write a return statement, or just write an empty return statement. Empty return statement means just write return and a semicolon, no variable along with it. If you are writing void, void means nothing to return. You are not returning anything to the calling program. Okay, so in this case, you are returning, and the returned data type is double. So your variable, what is the returning data types, returning variables data type? That is what you're writing here. Please remember that. Okay, note it down. Question, again, it's a series. It's again overloading, okay, function overloading. So here, what they are expecting you to write is double series. There are two formal parameters, double A, comma, double N. Okay, so this is the method header. And what is the series? Series is sum equal to 1 by A square plus 4 by, sorry, not 4. Yeah, 4 by A cube plus, no, 4 by A to the power 5 plus 7 by A to the power 8 plus 10 by A to the power 11 plus etc. up to n terms. This is the question. 1 by A square plus 4 by A to the power 5 plus 7 by A to the power 8 plus 10 by A to the power 11 plus up to n terms. First, first understand how is it incrementing? How is the numerator changing in this case? Is the numerator changing? Yes, numerator is changing. What about the denominator? Is it changing?
Yes, miss.
Denominator is also changing. Now, and how is it changing? How is that pattern?
+3.
+3. Okay. So numerator, what should be the starting value of I?
1.
Okay. So what I'll do is for int I equal to 1, I less than or equal to n. How should it increment? +3, right?
I plus 3, right? Or I plus 3.
I plus plus is good because here you are counting the number of terms. N represents number of terms. Got it. I don't want any confusion here because n is, they said n terms. N terms means this is one term, this is second term, this is third term, this is fourth term, like that it is going. Like that you should have n terms. If you do +3, if you do I equal to I plus 3, you will not get n terms. Understood? You will get n by 3 terms only. You will not get n terms. Got it?
Yes.
So what is the other, what can you do now? Keep another variable. Okay, we have no problem. Bring in another variable. So let it be int, maybe a k equal to 1. Okay, starting value of k is 1. Fine. Now, how should you write it? You should write, okay, and I need double variable. Better not to keep this as int because double would be better. Double sum equal to 0 and k equal to 1. Okay. Now, inside this loop, what will I do? Sum plus equal to, what is my step? Step is I, not I, k. K divided by, okay, k divided by a to the power 2. What is the relation between k or this and the power? What is the relation between the numerator and the power of the denominator? What is the relation?
Miss,
Plus
both int 3.
Sorry?
both increment by 3.
Both increment by 3. That's not what I'm asking. You're talking about term to term, it is incrementing by 3. But in one term, I'm just considering one term. In one term, what is the relation between the numerator and the power of the denominator? Do you see any relation?
K comma K plus 1.
K plus 1. Yes, K, and here the power is 2. Here the number is 1. When the number is 1 in the numerator, denominator's power is 2. So why to unnecessarily bring in K, J, all that variable? You don't need so many variable. When you are able to establish a relation, just go ahead with one variable. Okay. So what I want to tell you is just math.pow A comma K plus 1. That's it. Put a semicolon here. This will give you the answer. Then what? Should increment K by what? By 3. Close the bracket. Understood? K should be incremented by 3. So that in the next iteration, K becomes 2 plus 3 is, 1 plus 3 is 4. And the power of that denominator is 5, K plus 1. So that is what you will be writing. And what is the return statement? Is there do I need to write a return statement? What do you think, Maria? Do I need to have a return statement?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, and return sum. Yes, and sum is a double variable, double type variable, and so I am returning. So this is how you write this series question.
Because I didn't understand why K is K plus 1, A comma K plus 1.
See, otherwise, how will you write? You tell me what is in your mind. What is the plan? You said one variable is required, right? I can't put I because I is representing number of terms. I think that part is clear to you. Is it?
Yes, miss.
I is number of terms. If you increment I as I plus equal to 3, what happens is the number of terms is going to be n by 3. You will see only n by 3 terms, but that's not the correct answer. You should see n terms. You should see n terms, but then you can't keep I here in that case because I has a different meaning altogether. So you can't use I in this specific case. Just do the iteration and see when what is the first value of K? What is the first value of K? Tell me, Reina, quickly. What is the first value of K? Then what is the initial value of K?
1.
1. So inside the for loop, then sum plus equal to, what should I write? Sum plus equal to what? Tell me the actual numbers.
K by
What is the value of K?
1.
1 divided by
Math, okay.
math.pow.
Math.pow. When I'm asking, K should be 3 times, right? Because it's
No. You tell me the value. That's what
increment.
I'm saying. A comma K plus 1. What does it mean?
Is
What would be the power of A?
2.
2. So this is the reason why I am putting K plus 1. Because in the question, 1 divided by A square is the question series. Got it?
Yes, yes.
So that is the reason.
Next one.
Now what is
will
the
be
next value of K? Let's do the iteration. What is the next value of K?
It's 4.
4. K is 1 plus 3. 1 plus 3 is 4. Now inside the for loop, what will be the value of sum then? 1 by A square I'm writing because I'm not planning to calculate now. Plus what? What will come?
Plus 4 by is
4
8 to the
by
power
A to the power
Okay, so K is 4, right? So, okay, 4 plus 1. 5.
4 plus 1 is 5. So am I getting this?
Yes, miss.
So that is the reason I put K plus 1. So you have to see what is the relation between, see, you need to think of reducing the number of variables. Reducing the number of variables means if you are not getting any idea, keep another variable like J. That J will decide this value. Understood? If you are unable to establish a relation between the numerator and denominator, then keep separate variables for separate variables for numerator and denominator. Depends if you are totally not able to establish a relation. Otherwise, just go ahead with one variable like +1, -1. Those kind of things you can do. No, that's all. Talking about a return data type, there should be a return statement. If the return statement is missing, then you won't get the mark. Okay. No, you don't need to. If when in the first look, if it is visible, yes, go ahead and establish. Otherwise, just if you don't see anything, just have one variable for numerator, another variable for denominator's power. But
No, ma'am,
remember
for the
to
first one.
Hmm?
Ma'am, for the
Yeah.
first question, the numerator was same, denominator changed. That time we were looking at the differences between the denominator. And the
because
second
it was
question,
incrementing by 1 and you don't need to bring in another variable, because how I is flowing the same way. First variable, when I is 1, denominator is 1. When I is 2, denominator is 2. It was like that. So you don't need any other variable, right? When I and this thing is not matching, that is when you think of, can I somehow relate I and this variable, this term? If that also, if you are not getting that idea also, then come up with a variable. And you must have seen how that variable is incrementing, right? That increment pattern, you write it within the for loops, this area. That's it, in the body of the for. That's all.
okay.
Okay. Thing which I want to tell you is, in this question, what they have mentioned is define a class to overload the method print as follows. Now void print to print the format, some format is given. Now Boolean, that format we have already discussed in today's class, okay, because it is in the first row 1, second row 2 and 3, third row 4, 5, 6, fourth row 7, 8, 9, 10. That's what that Floyd's triangle only. We have discussed it. Now the second method is returning Boolean, and what it is doing is check whether the number is, what is it? Dieudonné number. Okay, I don't know. Dieudonné number, they have mentioned that a number is Dieudonné number if the cube of the sum of the digit is equal to the number itself. You have done how to extract the numbers. Perform that, do that, how to extract a number, understand it, do follow the instruction. I don't need to explain it. Follow the instruction and do it. Then void print int a, the next method also they have mentioned, do that. Here they are not talking about a main method. They just ask you to write void print void these things. They have not mentioned about main method, so you don't need to write a main method. Okay, for some questions they will say write a main method and call these method. Like you, at that time you have to create an object of that class, and then you have to call object dot print, like that you have to call. But in this specific case, you don't need to create a main method. Try that. I want the answer from all of you. Question number 4 from specimen paper. Okay.